Shalawam, Brakati Yahawah, Brakati Yahawashai. All praise is due to Yahawah by Hashem YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to you brothers out there pushing this word in sincerity and truth. All right, today's topic is about pacing yourself. Okay? The word pace goes back to passus, all right, in the Latin, meaning stride, all right? A stride of the leg. Okay? Now, a good pace means a moderate, slow but steady progression, if you will. All right? This truth that we in is a marathon. All right? Don't be fooled. It is a marathon. There is a finish line. The finish line is the kingdom of heaven, the salvation of the elect that you read in Revelation, the 7th chapter, salvation of the 144,000 and the 1/3 of Israel. So we are steady trying to meet that mark and be the person we have to be, all right, according to Yahawah's will, not our own, and so that we can receive salvation. But it takes a pace. It takes a nice temperate stride of the leg until you reach the finish line and cross the finish line. Because as the scriptures tell you in Matthew 24, it says, he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So we have to actually physically pass that finish line, which is after all this hell and tribulation and persecutions and trials and afflictions and plagues that are foretold in the Bible to come to pass, do come to pass. All right? So in the nature of this video is pace yourself. All right? Which means you're working at a rate where you don't over-exhume or over-exhort yourself and lose all your energy and then end up falling out the race. Now, let's look at a marathon, because that seems to be the best analogy for this. And a marathon is a long race. A sprint is a short race. In a sprint, you go all out. You exude your full strength in a matter of less than a minute, and the race is over. A marathon can last a day, a couple days. It can go on for over 50 miles. So the running technique is different. You have to pace yourself. Going back to the Latin, meaning stride of the leg. All right? A nice moderate pace. Slow and steady wins the race. All right? So I'm going to bring out some scriptures in a second. But just to harken on the point, we need to pace ourselves. And another thing is that you look at nature. Nature tells you how to pace yourself. If you go out to the wild right now and you see the alligators, they're pacing, man. They're not just going wild out there, just chomping at everything, breaking up the water, making all the animals run. They're slow and steady to that pace till they get the food, and then they move quick. A snake even. A snake waits to the exact moment it needs to, the last moment before it strikes. It doesn't just go out there, just start striking all crazy. All right? Think of a lion. Majority of times you see a lion in the wilderness or in the jungle, what is it doing? A lion's just going to be sitting there, laying there, looking lazy, if that. But the lion waits patiently for its opportunity to strike, and then when that time comes, it strikes and it gets the food. We have to pace ourselves. We're in a race. The race is not to the swift. So in saying that, let's get into some scriptures. So this is from an article called How the Slothful and the Hasty Are to be Admonished. Okay, writings of Leo the Great. All right, so I'm going to the last paragraph. It says, but on the other hand, the hasty. So he's speaking about people who act too quickly. Okay, because the beginning of a man that is too hasty or being over hasty is to act before or too often. All right. And that comes from fear that it's not going to end. That comes from anxiety. That comes from this world teaching us act before you think. So it says, on the other hand, the hasty, that's who we're talking about, while they forestall the time of good deeds. The word forestall means they premeditated it, acted on it, and ended up stopping the good deed from actually happening. Um, you know, sometimes when you jump the gun, you mess up the whole flow of things. So it says, while they forestall the time of good deeds, pervert their judgment. The word pervert means to corrupt. It says they pervert their merit. Merit means your reward that you reaping for doing good works. So you're corrupting your reward by jumping the gun, all right, doing way too much, and often fall into what is evil, while falling altogether to discern what is good, while failing altogether to discern what is good. So you have to be careful, be wary of acting and jumping the gun. Be wary of doing way too much. On the contrary, you have the slothful who are too slow. All right, they're sluggards. All right, they wait for everything, the right time passes them all the time, and then they just fall out. Then you have the hasty, who do way too much to jump the gun, pervert their merit, and fall into what is evil, while failing altogether to discern, meaning separate what is good. Okay, so the whole point is to take your time, but go at a good pace. Such persons look not at all to see what things they are doing when they do them, but for the most part, when they are done, become aware that they ought to have done them. So you have people that's going so fast with it, they're not even stopping to realize what they're doing. You're supposed to feel what you're doing. You're supposed to feel it in real time, not to the point where by the time it's over, you got to look back and look at yourself like, oh shoot, what did I do? That's jumping the gun. That's being hasty. It says, to such under the guise of a learner, it is well said in Solomon, my son, do nothing without counsel, and after it is done, thou shalt not repent. That's Ecclesiasticus 22 and 24. Don't do anything without counsel. Seek counsel first, brothers. And again, let thine eyelid go before thy steps. That's Proverbs. What's that? Proverbs 4 and 25. For indeed our eyelids go before our steps, when right counsels prevent our doings. For he who neglects to look forward by consideration to what he is about to do, advances his steps with his eyes closed, proceeds on and accomplishes his journey, but goes not in advance of himself by looking forward. Therefore the sooner falls, because he gives no heed through the eyelid of counsel to where he should set the foot of action. Okay, so the whole point is, in getting counsel, you're not gonna jump the gun. You're gonna have eyes in front of you, because as you're involved with this doing this work, all right, that we in, you can do way too much where you can't see what's in front of you. You're moving way too fast. Okay, you're bound to trip over things if one, you're not looking, two, you're moving too fast. Don't they always say when you're near a pool, don't run, because you might trip and fall? Okay, more people trip and fall by either trying to walk way too slow. Like if you try to walk one step every 5 minutes, you fall, because that takes too much balance. But if you try to step 10 steps in 2 seconds, you're gonna fall. Instead, one step every 1 second is a pace where that causes you to not fall, and you could watch what's in front of you. All right, so let's go to the next ones. So we're just gonna quickly go through some of the hasty scriptures.
Proverbs 14:29. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. So you got men that want to set it off all the time. To be in a spirit to want to be wrathful quickly is self-destruction. Okay, and it's folly, man. So you even got to pace your temper. The scripture tell you, he that have control over his body, he that have no control over his spirit is like a city with no walls, because any type of motion can come run right through. Just like a city with no walls, any intruder could come through, any demon could come through. You got to have control over your spirit and not being hasty. Certain things you want to be hasty, you want to run with it, you want in hopes that this place is going to end, you're going to speed, but you got to take your time. Proverbs 21:5. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, because a diligent man's focus on having more and obtaining more, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. So the hasty man wants and then wants more and then wants the next one. He doesn't realize that he has plenty already. Proverbs 29:20. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than him. You can't even be hasty in your speech. Sometimes if you got to count in your head 1 Mississippi 2, just to allow the other person to say something. And then after they say something, you need time to think about what they said. And that's how a real conversation should be held. That's how true discourse should be held. With thought. Not with retaliatory words and quick, hasty judgment. Ecclesiastes 5:2. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. Okay, Ecclesiastes 7:9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Alright, so we have plenty of scriptures talking about hasty, not being hasty. Okay. As you can see, there's Ecclesiastes 8:3. Alright, and many more. But I'm not going to go through them right now. These are more scriptures on being hasty. Alright. There's Proverbs. Let me read Proverbs 28:20. A faithful man will abound in blessings, but he who makes haste to be rich will not go unpunished. You don't want to try to be rich in this society, first of all. Alright. David spoke about give me poverty nor riches. You want to be in the middle, man. You want to be moderate. Be moderate with your movement. Be moderate with your tongue. Be moderate with your judgment. Do everything in moderation, not in haste. This quote says, a marathon is an event where everyone is equal and ordinary at the starting line, but a legend is born at the finish. This is a picture of Bugs and the tortoise. Alright, for those that aren't familiar with the story of the tortoise and the hare, go check it out, pause the video, and go look at it with a spiritual eye. Alright, we're like the tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. It's is a saying, pace yourself, ask for help. Alright, be flexible, respect your limits. Because the limits is not too slow, but the limits is also not too fast. Guess what? When you're on the road driving, you can get a ticket for going too slow and get a ticket for speeding. You want to go the right perfect flow of the traffic. With Great Millstone, we got a flow of the traffic. Brothers know what it is, 2 videos a week. Try to pace yourself. If you don't know, if you can't manage, you ask for help. Who's our help? YAHAWASHI. He's our help and our refuge. Be flexible, right? Because you're going to have to open up some time for yourself in order to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. You want to read, you want to study, you want to do the videos, you want to link up with brothers. Your time got to be flexible. The definition of niggard is somebody who's stingy. You can't be stingy with your time either. 5 ways to pace yourself. It says stop, breathe, refocus, regroup, pace yourself. Keep calm, pace yourself. Alright? With that, say shalom. One more thing. The word steady means, the second definition, it says regular, even, and continuous in development, frequency, or intensity. That's what we're trying to be. It says a steady decline in the national birth rate. Okay, constant, unchangeable, regular, consistent. That's what you want to be, consistent. If all of a sudden you're moving too fast, you're not consistent. If all of a sudden you're slowing down, you're not consistent. Be constant, unchanging. Find the pace and stick to it. Be steady in the pace. Okay? Pace. Let's look at where is it? Walk a steady, consistent speed, especially back and forth. The last definition, move or develop something at a particular rate or speed. So we developing this truth at a particular stride, at a particular march, at a particular patrol, at a particular walk. That's how we develop, at a particular speed. Not too fast, not too slow. Shalom.